can think of, every drop I drink of. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Cool me down, you're so hot. Pull me up, I can explain. To address the obvious thing first, I'm aware that this is an anime channel, and today we're talking about something that isn't an anime. And all I have to say to that is, it's whatever. It's just, basically, just don't think about it. So, K-pop Demon Hunters is pretty popular, huh? Though popular might be a bit of an understatement. Not only has the movie charted #1 on Netflix in several different countries, but according to Netflix, the film is the first ever in the streaming service's history to reach a viewing peak in its 5th week of release. In fact, the movie just became the most popular animated film on Netflix just ever, which is absolutely insane. And if you think it ends there, it doesn't. Several of the movie's songs have broken into Billboard's top 100. The two most notable examples being Golden, which achieved the #1 spot on Billboard's Global 200, as well as Your Idol, which went on to become the highest charting song by a male K-pop group in US Spotify history, dethroning the once invincible K-pop group BTS. Look, I've basically never listened to a single K-pop song in my entire life, and even I know what BTS is. Like, that's a huge deal. And it's a song where the singers are wearing evil pilgrim outfits. Okay, before anyone gets mad at me, I know they're like traditional Korean garb, but I don't know what to tell you, that they look like evil pilgrims. Obviously, everyone is going insane for this movie, so I just had to see what all the hype was about. And I actually feel like I'm a pretty ideal candidate for this, because like I said, I have exactly 0 experience with K-pop. That's not saying any of it is bad, I just really haven't been exposed to it all that much. So I am in a unique position where I have absolutely no bias going into this movie whatsoever. So with all that said, is this movie worth all the hype? Well, first, let's talk about the plot. What exactly is K-pop Demon Hunters about? You really need me to explain this to you? Like, it's right there. It's right freaking there, right in the title. Like, come on, you can't get much more self-explanatory than that. Okay, jokes aside, because there is quite a bit to the story. K-pop Demon Hunters revolves around the famous K-pop idol group Huntrix, who are secretly part of a long-spanning lineage of demon hunters who, get this, fight demons with their singing. I swear, it's cool, okay? Just keep listening. It's cool, I swear. Through their voices, as well as the adoration of their fans, they reinforce a magical barrier called the Hanmoon, which separates the demon realm from the human realm. So of course, the demons decide that the best course of action is to hit Huntrix right where it hurts.
The fans. A demon boy band?
Yeah, that was pretty much my exact reaction upon seeing that as well. So with the newly formed demon boy band Saja Boys, them and Huntrix battle it out for the attention of the fans as well as the fate of the world. Now, obviously, the first thing that stands out about this film is the animation. I have to say, Sony Pictures animation has really been hitting it out of the park lately. The thing I love about this movie is the absolute dedication to nailing the art style. Whereas a Sony Pictures animation film like Spider-Verse is heavily inspired by Western comic books, this movie is very heavily inspired by Asian media. You know, stuff like manga, anime. I mean, considering it's Korean, there's also probably a bit of manhwa in there as well. But you get what I'm saying, and the animators really didn't skimp out on providing some great instances of facial expressions, a lot of which have actually become memes in their own right. Something that I always appreciate is when animators can use like exaggerated Looney Tunes logic to convey an emotion a character is feeling. Like for instance, this moment where Zoe is so infatuated with the Saja Boys, her eyes turn into corn cobs, which then proceed to be splattered with butter, which then explode into popcorn. I mean, in general, this movie is just really funny. It has a lot to say about idol culture, whether it's commenting on how insane the fans can be at times, or even poking fun at at the idols themselves. And these were the moments that really stood out to me the most. You would think that for a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters, the biggest selling point would be like the demon hunting. But for me, the best parts of the movie were when the characters were just kind of talking to each other. And to this point, the chemistry between the three main characters is incredible. Also, yes, before anyone asks, Zoe is my favorite. I know that's probably not a super unique opinion, but I mean, how can you blame me? Just look at her. The thing that's the most refreshing to me about this film is just how much it actually relies on its moment-to-moment writing and character interactions to, you know, be a good movie, especially for like a film geared towards younger audiences. Because nowadays it feels like so many family films, instead of relying on the actual characters and writing, are more so just leaning into references and hoping the audience remains entertained by constant key jangling of the things they love and have nostalgia for. And that's not what this movie is at all. One of its key strengths is how likable its characters are. Though that's not getting into its other key strength, which is, oh my god, the music. The music, it's so good. Why is it so good? I am not exaggerating when I say that I have had this movie's soundtrack on repeat for the past couple of days. And that's because the music is just so addicting to listen to. Every song is just a bop, from the uplifting euphoria you get from listening to Golden to the absolute crushing despair conveyed in Your Idol to the annoyingly catchy beat of that stupid soda pop song. I swear it's in my head constantly. When I take a shower, when I go to the grocery store, it's always there. It's always there and it never leaves. The directors were aware that they needed outstanding music for this film, so they went through the trouble of getting some pretty prominent names who actually worked in the K-pop industry. Most notably Teddy Park, one of the co-founders of the Black Label, who in the past has worked with K-pop groups like Blackpink. It's evident that the music was a massive priority in this movie, though the funny thing is that according to the directors themselves, Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans, they actually didn't originally intend for this movie to be a musical in the traditional sense. From the start, we talked about this movie not being a traditional musical, where characters break into song to express their feelings. It felt like we could avoid that because our characters are naturally singers. Their job is performing. We always knew there would be pockets of music threaded throughout the film, and that felt like an organic way to push the story forward. But as we kept developing the film, we realized, oh no, this is a real musical. Even though the characters aren't exactly singing their feelings, every lyric had to serve the story and reveal something about them or advance the plot. It became very challenging very quickly, and we just had to admit this is exactly what we said we wouldn't do, and here we are. I do have to say though, I'm incredibly grateful that they decided to embrace the fact that this movie is in fact a musical, because, well, it plays into this movie's final message about what it means to not only be an idol, but a human being in general. So I'm not going to get into spoilers here, but one of the biggest themes of K-pop Demon Hunters is learning to accept yourself. And when I say that, I mean every part of yourself. Both the good and the bad. And there's ways in which the characters try to cope with the more negative aspects of who they are, whether it's hiding them from view or just trying to forget about them completely. And this speaks deeply to idol culture, I feel. The absolutely unrealistic standards that these people have to go through to always be presented in the most perfect, controlled way imaginable, trying to erase any potential flaw that can be perceived. But it's not like this is just something that applies to idols. This is something everyone feels, including me. It's never easy coming to terms with the things you don't like about yourself, whether it's something you can't help or is entirely of your own doing. That's just how we are as people. We don't like confronting these things because you're basically having to look into a mirror and point out every blemish you see. And for a while in my life, I feel like that's what I was doing, completely running away from my flaws in the hopes that if I just ignored them for long enough, then they'd just be non-existent. But at the same time, accepting these things is the only way we can begin to heal. And this is why I feel like the music in this movie is so integral, because it does help tell a story, especially the final song. It tells the story of all the ups and downs of finally coming to terms with who you are. Nobody, not even the idols we worship, are perfect beings. And it isn't healthy to just pretend these negative parts of you don't exist. And the only way that we can come to terms with it and find inner peace is to fully confront it. That's what makes K-pop Demon Hunters truly worth the hype. And I have to say that, wow, after watching this movie, Sony Pictures Animation has earned my respect as one of the big hitting animation studios in the modern day. And now I'm really looking forward to their next film. I wonder what that's gonna be actually. Here, let's take a look. Let's see here. Sony Pictures Animation next movie. All right.
All right. Break it up. It's the same ass as yesterday. Me.
I don't want to live in this world anymore.